Hello, BookTube. We've got a little mail on this cloudy, rainy day. That river of rain that I mentioned yesterday did indeed arrive. It's been on and off raining all day. The main concern that weather forecasters had yesterday was that the rain would get torrential and be accompanied by 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. That hasn't happened yet. Nothing like that. This is just a gentle summer rain falling out there, but it was enough to wet the packages down on the landing. So I've got two packages here, a package and a box. Won't be a long video. They don't have to be long, but I couldn't open these without you, especially since I have a feeling that they're both going to be finished copies. So that's always fun. Let's see what this first one is. Oh, great. Okay. Yes, indeed. This is a finished copy. What have we got here? Lots of paperwork. We've got lots of paperwork that I don't need. This is the finished copy of Roderick Beaton's book, The Greeks. Very pretty thing. Big, hefty thing. Coming out on the 2nd of November. Let's see here. One of the oldest languages for which we have continuous written record, Greek, has underlined the development of the Greek peoples and their cultures, those responsible for helping to shape the global stage for over 3,500 years. As such, it provides a unique opportunity to understand the formation of identities and how they change over time. The author of this book, Roderick Beaton, the record-breaking 4-time winner of the prestigious Runciman Award, so he's won it 4 times, has written his magnum opus, The Greeks, A Global History. From the Bronze Age and classical antiquity to Alexander the Great and the expansive Byzantine Empire to the modern diaspora spread across 5 continents, he traces the historical impact of Greeks both within their own communities and throughout the globe. Fantastic. Okay, well, I'm always up for something like this, and I think I got the advanced copy of this. We saw the advanced copy of this, but I think I sent it out to a potential reviewer right away and didn't read it. I think I only dipped into it. I'll see if I remember that correctly. I'm pretty sure that I never got around to digging in the endnotes of this thing, and now I will. Fantastic. Okay, so a big, fat work of history right on the doorstep of Nonfiction November. That's very good. Then we'll do the box, and we'll be done. I can't imagine that anyone would send me a box for anything less than a finished copy. So, what have we got here? See, this packing paper. A lot of publishers will do this. They will use packing paper instead of those plastic packing peanuts. And these packing papers they come off a roller, and they have perforations. This one is a perfect example. They have perforations along their length at regular intervals. So what I tend to do here is just fold these up along those regular intervals, flatten them out, and put them underneath a stack of books to flatten out all of the creases and folds and whatnot. So you put these under a big, heavy stack of books. Make sure to get as many of the kinks out as you can, fold it into the shape that you want, and then flatten it out under a stack of books, and suddenly you have usable paper. This is perfectly usable paper. But what have we got? Oh, fantastic. Oh, great. Fantastic. I requested this. This is a finished copy. I don't think we've seen the advanced copy of this. This is a little bit unusual. I wonder if this comes with a copy of any kind? No, it doesn't. Okay. This is Burning Boy, The Life and Times of Stephen Crane, the great American author Stephen Crane. And it's by Paul Auster. It's by another author. Big, thick, heavy thing with elaborate references, if I remember correctly. Yeah. This is Auster's a strong attempt on Auster's part to write a legitimate biography of a great American writer. Kind of weird when Auster is famous for his own writing, for his own fiction. So what have we got here? This comes with advanced praise from Russell Banks, Judith Thurman, Luke Santi, Michael Wood, and Paul Sorrentino. Let's see here. Best known as the author of The Red Badge of Courage, Stephen Crane produced an avalanche of sublimely original short stories, novellas, poems, and journalism before his life was cut short by tuberculosis at the age of 28. He could have lived with tuberculosis for another 40 years, if not for an item that is actually present on this cover. His life was cut short. Absolutely. Anyway, according to Ralph Ellison, between Twain and the emergence of Faulkner, no artist of Crane's caliber looked so steadily at the wholeness of American life and discovered such far-reaching symbolic equivalents for its unceasing state of civil war. Crane's work remains fresh today because he was a great artist. That is Ralph Ellison saying that. Then the cover copy goes on. Celebrated novelist Paul Auster delves deeply into the many forms of that greatness as he tells the story of Crane's tumultuous and dramatic life. A controversial article written at 20 then disrupted the course of the 1892 presidential campaign, crushing poverty as the newcomer to Manhattan during the worst economic depression in the country's history, international fame at 25, a public battle with the New York Police Department over the false arrest of a prostitute that effectively exiled him from the city in 1896, a shipwreck off the coast of Florida that led to his near drowning in 1897, a common law marriage to the proprietress of Jacksonville's most elegant bawdy house, correspondent during the Spanish-American War in Cuba, where he repeatedly stood in the line of enemy fire, and then his final years in England, where Joseph Conrad was his closest friend and Henry James wept over his early death. One of the great American writers of our time examines the life and work of another great American writer from an earlier time, as Paul Auster and Stephen Crane intersect in this masterpiece of literary biography. We'll see if it's a masterpiece of literary biography, but this is kind of strange. We noticed it, I pointed it out to you last year, or no, maybe 2 years ago, or 3 years ago even, time blurs when you're a 28-year-old, that John Edgar Wideman, a really good American novelist, had written a literary biography of Robert Stone, another really good American novelist. This doesn't happen that often. Very happy to have this. Fantastic. In fact, since I didn't get the advance copy, I will put this at the front of the TBR for tonight. I will read this tonight and see. I've often found Paul Auster's, predictably enough, I've often found his nonfiction far more palatable than his fiction. I don't expect this will be any different. The only difference here will be that I know a lot about Stephen Crane and have read all the other biographies, so we'll see. I mean, I don't require that Paul Auster, spend 50 days in a dusty archive somewhere reading shoeboxes of documents that no one's seen before or managed to decode. If he does the normal quorum of research and writes a terrific book, I'll be well satisfied. So what a mail haul. Just 2 books, but very, very good stuff. 2 things that I want to read right away, and pretty sure can. I think The Greeks is a November release. So I'm pretty sure that I can read both these things right away. Actually, did The Greeks have a pub sheet? Yes, it did. Yeah, The Greeks is November 2nd, next Tuesday. So fantastic, great. Glad I opened these on camera. But I do believe this is it for videos for today. So I'm gonna wrap this up. You know that these 2 things are coming. I think Burning Boy is out already, and The Greeks will be out soon. So if you're building a TBR for Nonfiction November, they both qualify. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.